Hello YouTube world, my name is Nicholas Montez and you're watching my YouTube channel, The Teenage Movie Critic, and welcome back to the YouTube channel everybody. And in today's video we're doing another DC list. Today, this past weekend, Superman came out and it starts the official start to the DCU. And today I wanted to go through some of the projects that have been announced from the DCU. What films and shows am I excited for and what films and shows I'm not excited for. So let's kind of go ahead and get started with that. So if I'm going to be completely honest, I'm actually excited for a lot. Hold up, let me turn my camera. I'm actually excited for a lot of this stuff. I really don't know why it's so blurry. Okay, that's better. I'm actually excited for a lot of stuff that DC's cooking up. And to be honest, you know, I'm a big Marvel guy, but for the first time, I'm like, the fact that, you know, DC is starting its own universe and Marvel is not having as many films, but it will have some TV shows, so it'll still have some competition to compete with. So it's like, we're kind of getting back to that, of Marvel and DC basically having, you know, their own thing of clapping back. So let's go ahead and get started talking about these projects, and we'll kick things off with the very next DCU project to be confirmed on August, that is coming out August 21st, 2025, and that is Peacemaker Season 2. Yeah, it is confirmed that this season is now a part of the DCU, and I'll be honest, I'm extremely excited for this season. I think part of the now I don't know if it'll be better, but I think one of the big reasons for it is that it has a plot that's very interesting. I love the first season, but also I'm excited to see the stuff with Rick Flag Sr. and them transporting to the second universe, and also just the fact that it's probably going to be a little bit more emotional. But also it's a James Gunn project, so I really just trust him more than anything. So I'm going to put this one easily in their day one. Mainly because it's actually an easy one because I get to watch it whenever I want because I have Max. Or I have HBO Max. So, yeah. Then we have Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, which is the next DC movie, which will actually be coming out next year, in June of 2026. I'm not gonna lie, I actually am also pretty excited for this film. I think the story that they come up with, that it's basically based off the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow comic book. I think it sounds interesting that Kara El is basically different from Superman, where Superman grew up on Kansas and was raised by loving parents. Kara basically grew up on Krypton, and she saw like half her people die. And to be honest, the movie sounds very depressing. Only thing is it going to be better than Superman? I don't know. But we'll have to see. I'm interested to see what this movie is going to be like. So I'll put this one in excited. Then we have Clayface the movie, which also is set to come out on September 11th, 2026. Kind of crazy that it's coming out on 9/11/2026. I hope that it is good because we did get to see Clayface in Creature Commandos beating the shit out of Rick Flag Sr. But at the same time, while I did like the way they portrayed him, I don't know too much about Clayface. Let's kind of take a look at what the film is about here. And basically, it's a body horror Hollywood story about a B-movie actor who uses a substance to remain relevant but becomes made entirely of clay. So there is kind of an interesting story that is made for a film there. But once again, don't have any really big knowledge from the film. So I'm going to put this one in the interested tier. Mainly because horror is not really my thing. But unless you're able to find a story that does horror right, I think it could probably work. Then we have Lanterns. This is also a series that I'm actually kind of excited for. And I think I'm excited for all the Green Lantern stuff they have going on. Because I think, you know, since the Ryan Reynolds movie, they haven't really done a lot of great stuff with it. Like, they probably did a few cool stuff in the cartoons, but they never actually got to, like, let it shine out in the live action space. And you know, I think one of the big standouts of the Superman film was Guy Gardner, and I thought he was a great Green Lantern. This one is dealing with both of the Green Lanterns we know and love, and it's like a detective story on Earth. That sounds just really cool. So I'm putting this one and excited as well. The question is, am I excited for more than Supergirl or Lanterns? I'm just going to put it there. Then we have The Authority. This is another project I'm also really excited for. Essentially, it's going to be like The Boys, but, let's kind of take a look at it, what it is. Gunn described The Authority as a team that thinks the world is completely broken, and the only way to fix it is to take things into their own hands, whether that means killing people, destroying their heads of state, changing governments, whatever they want to do to make the world better. And essentially, Safran compared the morally complex team to Jack Nicholson's character Nathan R. Jessup in the film A Few Good Men. So yeah, this movie is going to be a very interesting film to make. Once again, based off that concept, I'm interested. I don't know if I could say I'm excited for it, because that kind of reminds me of something like The Boys or Invincible, something what they would have done, but now it's in the DC universe. I'm gonna put this one in the interested category, unfortunately, but I'm still excited for it though. I'm excited for all these projects, by the way. Then we have Batman: Brave and the Bold. This is our Batman film of the DCU, and I'll be honest, I don't need no trailer. I don't need no concept of it. Well, actually, I did need a concept of it, because what is the story of this Batman story? And the fact that this film is basically going to be giving us an experienced Batman, and we're getting to learn about the different members of the Bat family. It's going to introduce Damian Wayne and having all these different characters in it, and the fact that Superman started it off and we're kind of going a little bit comic booky, and it doesn't really matter. And the fact that we could possibly get a really great comic booky Batman, but not campy Batman. I'm interested to see what James Gunn is going to create with this version of Batman. I'm so excited for this one. So actually, this is my most anticipated project from the DCU. Then we have Swamp Thing. This is almost like Man-Thing of the DCU, where basically, I'm going to look at it here. It's a gothic horror film that explores the dark origins of Swamp Thing. Not really much to talk about there. Once again, it's kind of like the Clayface movie, where I'm just not as interested. I'm going to put this one in the category, unfortunately. If you guys are actually excited for Swamp Thing, I probably should watch the original Swamp Thing movie, but yeah, that's where I'm going to go with it. Then we have the live-action Teen Titans movie, or an animated Teen Titans movie, whatever. They want to make a Teen Titans movie. I'm interested in the idea of this. I just don't know how it would work, especially the fact that we had pretty much 2 successful cartoons based off the team, and it's been doing pretty well. So I'm going to put this one in the interested category. Bane and Deathstroke. I think this has potential to be something cool, but at the same time, I don't know if I really care too much at this point, because we never really got the payment of the Deathstroke in the Snyder Cut, and we also never got a great Bane in the live action besides Tom Hardy's Bane. So I'm going to put this in the one I don't care about, unfortunately. Sergeant Rock was a film that I actually thought got canceled, so I don't know why it's still here, but I'm very excited for Sergeant Rock. It's basically, here's what the concept of it is described as. It's described as the film features Sergeant Rock teaming up with a female French resistance fighter to locate the Spear of Destiny before the Nazis do. Safran described the film as a World War II story that explores heroism and conflict. So basically, it's taking a World War II story and doing it something different with a superhero and doing something interesting with it, where it has action, but it's a heroic story. And to be honest, I think that this could make for a great little story in the DCU, and I think it could be something really special. Easily their day one. We then have the DCU's Wonder Woman movie, which I'm actually kind of excited for. I like the version of Wonder Woman from Gal Gadot, but I think we do need another version that is respected and maybe stands for what the character stands for. Question is, where do I want to put it? I'm going to put this one in the interested category because I don't know too much of what they're doing here. They just said they want to work on it. And then we have Justice League, which in my opinion, I think that, Justice League is kind of a film, and especially in the way that they did Superman in this one, it seems to me because he doesn't represent anybody, he wants to create a group. It would be interesting that he created a group of heroes that don't represent anybody. They represent the world and saving people and saving lives. And so if anything, I think that makes the film a little bit more exciting. So I'm going to put this one in the excited category. And now we're getting into some of the TV shows, with the first one being with the other one being Waller. Not gonna lie, I kind of not really that excited for this one. At first I was, because I'm like, we saw her Creature Commandos and she's behind the strings of everything. But I just think the way that is she the kind of character that we need to explore a backstory for? But at the same time, there are a few aspects I do kind of want to see, but for now, I'm going to put this one in mainly because I feel like there's other projects I'm more excited for. We then have Paradise Lost. This is another project that I'm actually very excited for because it's basically, let's kind of look at what it's described as. It's, the series is a political drama about the scheming and power struggles on the all-female island of Themyscira before the birth of Wonder Woman. And essentially, they compare it a lot to Game of Thrones. And while I've never actually seen Game of Thrones, I think that this show sounds like a really cool idea, especially with the Game of Thrones aspect. So I'm going to put this one in their day one as well, because that was also one of my issues with the DCEU. I want to see more of Themyscira, because I think that it's an interesting land that was just made up of women. Is this thing not going to move? Hang on. This thing is freezed. Hold up. Alright, there it is. Okay, so next up we have Booster Gold, which is another film, another show that I'm actually pretty excited for. Essentially, it's described as Mike Carter, Booster Gold, travels back in time to the present day to pose as a superhero using basic future technology. That already just seems like a really interesting little series to do. So, honestly, I'm extremely excited. However, I will be putting this one in the excited category, though, unfortunately, just because while it has me intrigued, it doesn't exactly give me exactly to know what I'm expecting. So, that's all I'm going to say for now. Then we have the Blue Beetle animated series, or just a Blue Beetle series. I thoroughly enjoyed the Blue Beetle movie, and so seeing more of that will be awesome. And if you don't know, James Gunn confirmed that Blue Beetle is essentially the first character in the DCU, but it's not a movie in the DCU, so unfortunately. I'm going to put this one in the interested category, mainly because we don't know much other than it's a Blue Beetle series that's happening. We then have, what's this series called? Mr. Miracle. It's an adult animated series based on writer Tom King's run of Mr. Miracle comics, was revealed to be in development. Okay. Essentially, it's an adult comedy. It's an adult animated series. Let's see what Mr. Miracle is all about. I don't really know. I'm probably going to put this in Don't Really Care, but that's just for now. Creature Commandos Season 2, I'm pretty excited for it. Mainly because I really enjoyed the first season of Creature Commandos, and so I think with the new team established, they may have a chance to be good again. So, I'll put this one in excited. We then have the Crypto Shorts. This is one that is kind of interesting. I'm going to put this one in the mainly because, it's Crypto Shorts. It's shorts. It's just content. But I still think I'll enjoy it because it's crypto. It's crypto. We then have the Dynamic Duo. So I don't know what this movie is. Is it like the team up of the different Robins across the DCU with like Red Hood and Dick Grayson? Is that what it is? I haven't exactly done my full research, but I'll put this one in the interested category, but it's actually going to go at the top. And then finally we have World's Finest, which a lot of people tend to think that this will be a great movie or whatever between the team up of Batman and Superman. I'm excited for it to see. I would rather just see. I want to see our Batman and Superman team up. I want to see our Batman be introduced first before we ever get a Batman and Superman team up movie, so we can know what we're dealing with. Because, I want a Batman movie where we can just stand out on its own. But that is going to, and I think I'm going to put this one in the most interested category there. And yeah, that's it. That's that's kind of like my ranking of all the DCU projects of which ones I'm excited for, which ones I'm not that excited for. That's pretty much everything I have for now. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.